Big Balls Bob. Not to be confused with Tiny Balls Todd.
I do have a body. It's very fantastic. More of a temple, really, than a body.
I can't tell if he's doing a bit or not.
I'm glad you brought that point up because
Todd's a pussy.
It's right next to Todd's OnlyFans.
It's on the internet.
Yeah, Todd's not dumb. I tried to get in a high honors English class once, and they called my parents and were like, hey, just tell him he can't do it. It shows. It really shows. I'm a dumbass, and I'm sorry.
The first time you've been let out of mom's basement, right?
Oh, no, I'm still in mom's basement, actually.
I hate you guys so much.
I'm going to throw these two guys into the screen so that if I die, they can carry on the legacy of crap that is this show. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, Packer fans. Welcome back into Lombardi's Bar. I'm your bartender, Dan Connick. Thank you so much for joining us today. We got a lot to talk about today. The Packers are on this long winning streak, finishing up most recently with another nail-biter against an AFC North opponent on Christmas Day, completely killing the second half of my Christmas Day. And we've got 2 games left on the season now to wrap up the number 1 seed and to just end all hope for the Minnesota Vikings this week. Thanks for joining us today. We are brought to you by our friends at Artec Ventures. The goal at Artec Ventures is to collaborate closely with founders throughout all the investment and fundraising stages, turn their visions into successful companies. Since 2020, Artec Ventures has helped turn great ideas into profitable businesses that make an impact on industries, communities, and beyond. Visit artecventures.com. To get us started today, let's get our drink special at Lombardi's Bar today. It is the Shot of Revenge. That's what the Packers have on Sunday, a little shot at revenge against the Minnesota Vikings. What's the Shot of Revenge? 1 part gin and 2 parts grape crush soda that we all know is the choice du jour of the Viking killer himself, Aaron Rodgers. And also top that off with just a few dabs of Paul Allen's tears. Freshly squeezed Paul Allen tears. Perfect for a shot of revenge. Bring these 2 guys in here to talk about Paul Allen's tears as well. It's Todd Varney and Jimmy Christensen. Guys, how are you doing today? How's it going? How was your Christmas?
It was wonderful. I spent it in Green Bay with the Packers, watching them take down the Browns. Made it a little bit more interesting than I was hoping for, but we got the win, and that's what matters.
Yeah, no, same. It was Christmas was good. I got very nervous during that game. My family did a pool for hopefully to win some money, and I won jack shit. So that kind of sucked. But besides that, it was good.
Wait, like you would have won money from your family or?
Yeah.
Please tell me it was just you and your wife and your 2 kids that you were trying to get money off of.
No, I definitely did put Dez's name on there, though. So I had 2 spots, but it was disguised as Dez.
Smart.
But no, it was yeah, like my whole family does one. Yeah, every Super Bowl we bring like 5 different pool cards, try to make it interesting. But I never win. I don't think I've ever won, and we've done plenty of these things.
How big is it? Just your family? You fill a whole board with your family?
Yeah, one of those like 10. We only have like a 10 spot thing. Yeah.
How's the eye healing up there, guy?
You know, it's getting there. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
bad now.
Nah, you're fine.
Was that one of the 4th graders?
That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Tag you?
Yeah. No, I caught an elbow, but I will, as Todd likes to say, the 4th grader beat me up.
For sure. Dan, how was your Christmas?
My Christmas overall was great.
Fantastic.
I got
Let's move
some
on.
fantastic Packer slippers that are bomb ass slippers. I love them. And then I did not make an ass out of myself in front of my wife's family. So, and I forced most of them to wear Packer jerseys. I brought all of my Packer jerseys and I just started handing them out to people. And I'm like, let's go. Like, we're going to sit around here after Christmas. You're all jerseying up. So
I don't think you can decide if you made an ass of yourself or not. Like, I think that's something that like they have to determine.
Okay, that's fair. But I feel like, especially with how I know I am by myself during games or just with my wife during games, it was a stark difference between the two. And so I feel like I did a very good job of handling myself.
Oh yeah, Kelsey said you did okay this year. So
You did okay.
yeah. So definitely not making an ass of yourself, but
And somehow I feel like that's actually an improvement from past years.
Well, how often I don't have to watch Packer games with them that often.
I still feel like you probably do a pretty good job of making an ass out of yourself in front of your family, whether or not the Packers are on.
yeah,
Honestly,
well,
when you said it, Dan, it didn't even register to me that there was a Packer game on that day. I was just like, yeah, that's par for the course.
that was my thought too, honestly, until you mentioned the jerseys. I was like, oh, okay.
No, it was good. I think overall the game itself, a fun, entertaining game. Could have been a little bit more or it could have been less stressful at the end, but overall thought it wasn't half bad. All right, guys, let's jump into it, talk about that game a little bit more with our buy around, pay the tab segment. Our buy around segment brought to you by our friends at Lakefront Brewery. Lakefront Brewery is one of Wisconsin's largest craft breweries. Since its founding in 1987 by brothers Russ and Jim Klisch, Lakefront has earned numerous awards and created many industry firsts. Lakefront Brewery tours are among the most popular in the United States, with over 100,000 guests taking the tour yearly. Brewing flavorful, high-quality craft beer has been their passion for over 30 years, and they'd love to tell you their story over a pint and a tour the next time you're in Milwaukee. Visit lakefrontbrewery.com to visit or to schedule your tour today. So, gentlemen, who are we buying around for? Jimmy, we'll start with you. Who are you buying around for today?
I was gonna say let's save Todd's to the last one because I feel like there's gonna be a discussion after that. I'm going with Alan Lazard. He caught number 443. He went from being on the practice squad a few years ago to working his way up. Caught a break when Sternberger got hurt. He was able to join the roster, and he's made a name for himself since then. And even just being an undrafted free agent coming on, a big deal would be to just make the team and be consistent. But he's become a starter. This record moment, like he's going to be solidified in Packer history now as a person who caught Aaron Rodgers' record-breaking touchdown. So just like a huge 3-4 year span for him that I'm sure he never saw coming, but it's cool to see that happen.
Yeah, I always wonder if like other fan bases know about Alan Lazard. You know, like he's, especially with the kind of the quiet or inconspicuous wide receiver room that we have outside of Devontae Adams. You know, I always kind of, is it just a lot of like regional bias that we all think, you know, highly of Alan Lazard, or is he well known throughout the league? You know, you think about other teams, like, can you name their most teams' third wide receiver? Like, I don't know, but I don't think Alan Lazard gets the credit he deserves because he does so many of those little things. You know, especially it's been talked about over and over again how much he contributes in the run game just as a blocker. You can see him out there, you know, making it work on the edge. So definitely good shout out for him. Good moment for him too to get 443.
Yeah, especially after Rodgers missed him last week. Like it just makes sense that it would go to him since he had the chance last time. Rodgers overthrew it, but I really do think Rodgers purposely overthrew him. I was just gonna throw it out there.
For what purpose?
So he could do it. Can you break the record at home? Yeah.
Okay.
We won the game. Fuck it. He's like, you know what? Let's break this record at home. It was on Christmas Day. You have to do it that way.
That's fair. That there's really not a more like poetic, you know, end to that story.
And I appreciate it because Alan Lazard dove to the pylon right in front of my seat, so I had a great view to 443. So that was nice. I appreciate the overthrow in Baltimore last week, and then getting it to Lazard this week.
Did you wear my crop
own
top?
Selfish reason? What's that?
Did you wear my crop top?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Yep. Can you bring that on Sunday for me, by the way?
Yeah, I'll bring your stuff.
Real quick on that 443. What do you make of Aaron Rodgers gifting the ball to Brett Favre's grandkids? Is that like
his grandson, wasn't it?
was it his grandson?
Yeah, was that a real thing or was that just a tweet? Did anyone confirm that?
I guess that's not actually, but I haven't confirmed that. I'm going off of what I heard.
Dan believes everything he sees on the internet.
Everything.
This is great.
This is a one time where we really miss producer Nick. Like, I didn't think we would until right now, where it's like, I wish we had someone to look that up for us.
Right? Yeah, I'm literally I am producer Nick today.
I don't know if he did do that. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, I would think he'd want to keep it, but
right. That's what I heard. Is just that like that was. I don't know. Fuck it. I guess.
Well, how do you feel about it, Dan? I feel like you asked us because you have an opinion on it.
I mean, I guess I don't know because it's like I'm not sure where's this like what is the sentiment? Is the sentiment like, hey, like your grandpa was so special, so I'm giving you this ball of the record. Like for me, it reads, and I'm not saying this is the sentiment behind it, but it reads like, hey, every time you go see your grandpa, just remember I'm better than him.
Well, that doesn't have any recency bias on how your personal feelings about Aaron Rodgers. That's fine. So according to the Fox broadcast, and it's been put on Sports Illustrated as well. He did gift it to Brett's grandson.
Well, I'm sure his grandson is thrilled. He probably has Favre's one. I'm sure Favre's going to give it to him eventually, and then he has this one. Like, he has both record-breaking. It's
like collecting Beanie Babies.
Footballs. Yeah, except way fucking cooler.
I just watched that Beanie Baby documentary at HBO, and those people are fucking insane.
Dude, I used to have so many of them. I'd be so rich right now if I kept them.
Also, real quick before we move on, Brett, could we get a little bit more energy in the thank you or the congratulatory video? either give me something a little bit more that doesn't feel like it was bought off Cameo, or don't give me anything, because it was really it was cringy for me to watch him do it.
Here's the thing. He's an old man using a smartphone. I'm not saying
well, where's the grandson?
I'm not saying that no old men can use cell phones, but I'm saying he doesn't have a production crew. He's just filming this by himself, trying to make it happen. Props for figuring it out. I'm sure it only took him 465 takes.
I just picture him like with his like glasses down on his nose. And he's like, "So what? Which button is it? YouTube, right? I want YouTube, right? That's the video one.
I got to email it. Where do I go for that?
There's so much of it they had to edit out before they could put on. I wish they had the blooper reel at the end where he's like, God damn it, how do I do this?
All right. I was told, Todd, you want to go last for your buy around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Off of Everclear Peyote. That's a fucking Christmas.
Good to see you, Joe.
I'm going to buy around for the offensive line because, I mean, these guys have just, they've, no matter who it is, they've done their job. Like, we're down to the 5th string left tackle at this point. And I know that they didn't have their full complement of that pass rush that's been killing teams all year long, but they still had, it was still Myles Garrett, right? Or which one played? Yeah. It was Myles Garrett, right?
Yeah.
And Jadeveon Clowney wasn't active. And that's why I'm asking, is because I didn't hear either of their names all night. Like in terms of wrecking a play or oh my gosh, like they've been playing outstanding today. I heard nothing from any of those guys. And that means the offensive line was doing their job. And so props again to this whole offensive line. Enough can't be said about it. They're the MVPs of the season.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, if you would have listened to Rodgers' entire stint on McAfee yesterday, not just pick and choose the parts that you want to listen to, Dan, you would have heard him say that Myles was out there on one leg, doing what he could, and is still a beast. So great job to the offensive line. Absolutely. But there was a reason that there was a freak of nature on the field that was pretty quiet on Sunday.
I mean, same thing with Aaron Donald last year. Like even at 50%, the dude is still wrecks games. We've seen it. And so it's been freaking Braden, for Christ's sake. Like You should be able to handle him if you're Myles Garrett, you should still be able to handle Ben Braden at left tackle.
I mean, maybe not.
Do you guys get super annoyed when they talk, like the broadcast brings up the other team's offensive line and goes over all these injuries? Like, man, this unit's doing really well with all these players being out. It's like, well, no, what about the fucking Packers? Like, literally every starter's not on the field. Like, can we, praise them up a little bit?
I feel like it's become at this point that the first couple of weeks broadcasts would talk about it, and now it's just become like a side note. Like, here's Aaron Rodgers in this offensive line. Yeah, they're pretty banged up, but here's and it's like they just know that it doesn't matter what's going on out there. That this offensive line is still doing stuff, so it's become like almost a non-story at this point for them.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: given the way that we've seen this mash unit of offensive linemen function throughout the season, and the salary cap hell this team is facing, I mean, it won't make a difference because Bakhtiari's contract is guaranteed, but would you rethink that contract if you were able to?
I wouldn't, because I think if you're gonna go big at one position on the offensive line, left tackle, you can fill in the guards, you can fill in. That's what I said.
Grumpy pants.
But you can fill it, like you've got a young center for the next 4 years. The guard play.
Maybe is he still alive?
I don't think so. I think they yell at him.
Yeah, I don't
yell at him
until I get confirmation from your sources, Dan.
Center. I'll do it.
Until I get confirmation from your people, Dan, I will not believe that Josh Myers is still alive.
All right, I'll work on getting a health check on Josh Myers.
Thank you.
A wellness check.
Iowa Joe did bring up a good point here, guys.
Yeah, we got to bring up that. Yes, we Favre does know how to use the camera function on the cell phones now.
Also, shout out Jen Sturger.
Is that who he sent it to?
Yeah,
for sure.
Moving along, Todd, who are you buying around for?
I am going with a guy that we have not given nearly enough credit to this year. Odds-on favorite to win the MVP for a second consecutive year, Aaron Rodgers. I feel like because of the season he had last year, he's not having as great of a season as he did. But last year was miraculous. I mean, you just look at the month of December. I mean, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. You've got to go all the way back to the middle of November to find a game in which he had an interception. So, I mean, he's just out there doing Aaron Rodgers stuff. Also on the McAfee show, he came out and said that, like you kind of said earlier, Dan, it would have been nice if they would have stood on the throat a little bit on Christmas Day and really put that game away. They need to do that better or be better about doing that. So shout out to him for recognizing that. I'm sure he in no way was sending that as a code or implying anything to the coaching staff that things need to change on that level. But all around, I think Aaron has somehow his performance hasn't been talked about enough this year. I think everything else that he says gets talked about so much that when it comes to his play on the field, everybody just kind of goes, oh, okay, he's Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think, or do you see that tweet that was like the best touchdown to interception percentage or ratio? And it's him in first place, like 16.5 or was it 16.5? And then second place is 4.
Yeah. Just absolutely destroying everybody in that one.
Literally 4 times better than the person in second place, who somehow is Kirk Cousins, but it's just fucking insane. Like, he is playing at a ridiculous level. And I think him winning MVP this year is even more impressive because he had to get over all the bullshit that people are going to bring into his football playing, which really should have nothing to do with an MVP level. Either the MVP and you deserve it or you don't. All the extra bullshit, unless you're killing someone, shouldn't matter.
Do you think that's going to factor in?
People are still fucking talking about it every single week.
I know people are talking about it, but it's like, I don't know.
Is Jackson Mahomes being a complete asshole every single week going to affect Patrick Mahomes from winning an MVP?
No.
I don't think so. I think
I'm never voting for Patrick Mahomes because of Jackson Mahomes. So yes.
I think when you look at, what else Rodgers, there's been, the early season off the field stuff. He hasn't been practicing. He's, battling a toe injury. He's a COVID survivor. I mean, just a number of things that he's went through this year. And then again, to just be constantly put under the microscope for everything he says, to still be able to go out there and perform at that level, and to have this team, for it not to be a distraction to the team, I think is huge too. To keep that locker room together with all of this surrounding them, I think is pretty crazy.
I just don't think the team gives a fuck because they knew about it.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think any of the players care.
Well, they know. I mean, they know about it, and again, it's really just a bigger media story than it is a team story. If you're a good enough player, the guys on the team don't give a fuck. Like, look at Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown technically committed a felony in lying about his vaccination status, and he's sticking around because he plays at that kind of a level that they want to have him. That it's worth the any sort of nonsense that kind of gets brought around about it. I think most of the guys on the team don't really care, and that's fine. I don't really care if they don't care. For me, I've made my peace essentially with Aaron Rodgers. I see where I stand emotionally with him, fan-player relationship. Do whatever you want. As the MVP of the season, he's a lock. He has to be. The way he plays, nothing else should matter in that.
So if we win next week and the Cowboys lose, we bench him, right? Like Rodgers takes 2 weeks up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys play before the Packers on Sunday, so there could even be a chance there because they'll have a 2-game lead and the tiebreaker at that point. So I think there's a chance we see limited action from those guys if the Cowboys lose to the Cardinals, which somebody fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Everybody. Arizona in general, the entire state gone.
Yeah, just
which, in the general scheme of things, is it the worst thing?
No.
Anyway, Let's pay the tab. There was plenty of pay the tab to go around after Saturday's game. Todd will start with you this time. Who needs to pay the tab after that Christmas Day win?
I'm going to go with Joe Barry. Since everybody decided to anoint him the best defensive coordinator this team has ever had and sign a petition stating that they would never call for his job again, he's put a defense on the field that's giving up 28 points per game since their shutout. So the last 5 games. With a bye week in there to try and rest guys and correct things. Thankfully, they're getting timely turnovers and some big sacks in there to help out. The run defense is 31st in the league, and they're just absolute sieves when it comes to anything. So I don't know that I'm calling for his job yet, but Joe Barry, you got about another week before I start calling for your job.
That's such a fucking turn of events. But like, he does so much with the little that he had. Like, Jair's not there, Zadarius not there, Kenny missed time, Rashawn missed time. Like, I don't know. At some point, you had to, and I know, hopefully you are, but like, I don't know. He's doing a lot with the B team in a lot of key positions. Like, at some point, he was literally missing his top 3 defenders. They're all out. I don't know. It's just, I'm definitely worried. It kind of seems like the other teams have figured us out, especially the Ravens COVID-ridden team, the Browns COVID-ridden team did really well against us and we couldn't stop them. But I don't know. It still seems
it's called just hand the ball off. If the Browns wouldn't have thrown, if they would have taken a page out of Bill Belichick's playbook and thrown the ball 5 times against us, they would have beat the shit out of the Packers.
Yes. Especially that last drive. If they would have just kept handing off to Chubb that last drive, they would have kicked the field goal and won.
Absolutely. They could have thrown the ball 5 times. Baker Mayfield still would have had 4 interceptions.
Yes.
But they probably would have won the game.
Isn't part of it that this team is based a lot on just the complementary football, and like when the offense gets into those modes where they start, like that's when I feel the defense really kind of starts to struggle heavily, is when the offense starts getting into those struggle moments. Like think of those last couple drives in that game for the Packers, 3 and outs, quick turnarounds for the defense. And now they're back out there just getting, Nick Chubb run through a mother effer's face again. And it seems like a lot of that success from the defense plays off of how well the offense is doing at times. And they really need each other to just work well together to sync up as well like that. And I feel like that's been kind of part of the issue with that.
We need to catch a lead so the team has to abandon the run.
Exactly. That's it. That's the best way to help your defense that's bad at running the ball, is force the other team to be in a position where they can't run the ball.
Well, that's what surprised me is, the Browns are down, they get the ball back, they hand the ball off, and I was like, that's weird. Okay, they're running into the 2-minute warning. That's fine. Run the ball one more time. Now you're going to start passing it. They did have timeouts. Then they came back from the 2-minute warning and ran the ball again. I was like, that's not how okay, never mind. I forgot that you can't throw the ball, but you're running it all over the defense. So yeah, keep it up.
Yeah. That was rough to watch. But like, just to like piggyback off your pay the tab, like mine's the defensive line this week. Like you have Kingsley Kiki's on there now. Tyler Lancaster's on there. Like it's already a defensive line that's not really playing the best the last couple of weeks, allowing the run game to go all over them. And now you're missing 2 players. Granted, Tyler Lancaster is Tyler Lancaster, but still he's a big body in there that you could use, even just give Kenny Clark a break for a couple plays. So they're going against fucking Dalvin Cook, who, if the Vikings are smart, which they're not, they would just give the ball to him every single fucking play and do the Bill Belichick barely throw it, as Todd mentioned before. So I don't know. This defensive line is really going to have to step up because we are facing a better running back this week.
I feel like it's part of this has to be on the outside pass rushing as well from Preston and Rashawn, because it feels like whenever they're going just straight up the field, no matter when it is, they break the contain. And if it's a run play, they're out of position. If it's a pass play, whoever it is squeaks out there. Maintain that whole defensive line. Just maintain the line. I don't even care so much about getting sacks or pressures. Just hold that whole line. And I feel like that is, in the way this defense is played, that makes a world of difference. Because there's who's the threat? It's Justin Jefferson and Tyler Conklin this week in the passing game. Double team them and force them to have to abandon the run with Dalvin Cook.
I feel like we've been hearing the last couple weeks, especially even the broadcast, all they talk about is, didn't have contain on that play. Contain wasn't there on this play. I don't know.
Yeah, it drives me crazy sometimes, is Rashawn trying to do too much. It's sort of like the Clay Matthews thing, and we saw those last couple of years where he's flying up the field to make the play. And I appreciate that and I love it, but hold the line. Force them to get into passing situations and then attack, I don't know.
Force them to get into passing situations, but you also just said you don't care about pressures or sacks. So not ideal.
Because I'm not saying I don't want you to like over pursue to only focus on the pass rush and to get penetration. Sometimes you just gotta hold out there, man.
It's all about getting penetration.
My pay the tab, friend of the show, Gab Gowdy. Because, excuse me, Gab.
No.
We're getting close to a week.
No.
Post win.
No.
You owe us
that moron on the
beer.
screen next to you, Dan. She made the bet and was ready to sign off, and that moron next to you,
I was confident,
said, "Well, do you want the points?" and we gave her 6.5 points. So we
Oh,
lost.
shoot. You're right.
Yeah.
Damn it, Jimmy.
I was confident.
I completely
She was
forgot about
she was
that.
ready
You
to just
son
move
of a
along.
bitch.
And Jimmy's like, well, do you want the points? What?
She baited you.
I thought I was
she didn't
being
even
Took the
bait him.
cheese.
He's just that dumb.
Dude, I thought I was just showing a lot of confidence in the team, saying, you know what, we're gonna beat them by more than 2 points. Breaking records. Fuck it, we're gonna dominate. I was wrong. My apologies. You still have to pay for your own beers, but I'm sorry.
Apparently, yeah. It's a good thing I didn't say anything because I was ready to I got receipts, Gab. I'm gonna throw this out there and plaster this all over and get this beer.
God, I wish you would have.
Yeah.
Like such a dummy.
Gosh.
Speaking of dummy, let's get to our drunk tweet of the week. Before we get to our drunk tweet of the week, though.
Sorry, I really like this transition. Let's go to this, but before we
get to that, that's called the transition tease.
We've got more dumb shit coming up. But first,
please, I want to remind everybody that a week from Sunday, these three guys down in Covington, excuse me, just outside of Cincinnati.
They're going to be mad.
Hanging out with all of the crew at Max Pizza Pub to coronate them as the best Packer bar in America. Got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We've got raffles, giveaways. We're going to have shot girls there. It's going to be a freaking party. So if you're in the area, or if you don't have anything going on, you're not in the area, and you fly or drive into the area, come on by, hang out with us, watch the Packers finish off another amazing season against the Lions, and celebrate what is now officially the best Packer bar in America, Max Pizza Pub in Covington, Kentucky.
I'm so excited for this.
I am too. I'm really looking forward to the 6-hour car ride with Jimmy and producer Nick. That's going to be fantastic.
Is Alex coming?
I'm still working on him. It's
Dude,
I would say
really
he's 50-50.
6 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Feels like it should be longer than that.
Sorry, it's not. I sorry that's all the
longer. Technically, you get the hour, you get the time change. So
yeah,
it's gonna feel like
we'll get it coming back. It's fine. But also on Saturday,
you're such a douchebag.
Jimmy and I will be doing a live stream from there. Dan apparently isn't going to join us for that. He's got apparently a kid on the way or some shit that I don't know. Doesn't make sense, but
don't like that.
Saturday, first 25 people to show up, limited edition, special order shirts.
Do you have one on hand, Todd, to show the people?
No, I'm in the basement. I've already got those and the rest of the swag that we're taking piled up, ready to go. Otherwise, I'll forget it all.
Fair.
So free shirts for the first 25 people that show up for the show, or just to buy me a slice of pizza. They can leave before the show. That's fine. I'll give them a shirt.
Question. Do I get a shirt?
We'll see how you behave.
As long as you're one of the first 25, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Which we'll see.
Yeah, that is risky. I'll probably show up halfway through the show. It'll be Todd for just half hour talking to himself.
For sure. And we will have we've got some pretty sick prizes as well that people can win. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. This is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I almost forgot before our drunk tweet of the week, we should probably talk about the game coming up a little bit more against the Vikings. Right?
They suck.
They do suck. They're a terrible garbage Mickey Mouse franchise of a football team. But regardless, we have to play them on Sunday night. So what are you most looking forward to this week, guys, against the Vikings? I know it's not on the paper, but I remember
it's not on the teleprompter. Jimmy's
we usually
not
do this part.
Sorry,
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Go fuck yourself.
I'm looking forward to a nice little revenge game, followed by a Mike Zimmer firing.
You think it'll happen? You think they'll fire him
I hope
if
so.
they don't make the playoffs?
I hope so.
You hope, like, wait, because I feel like Mike Zimmer is just like a slightly better version of Matt Nagy. Don't we want to kind of keep him around for a while?
I think he's quite a bit better than Matt Nagy.
Yeah. He's significantly better than Matt Nagy, and I'm fine seeing him fired because every once in a while he figures out how to run a football team.
Yeah, he can find some success. And he actually is a good defensive coach where Matt Nagy's like, you really don't know what his purpose is.
I would love to see them bring in like an offensive guru because it's going to be way too like
it'll ruin everything there.
It'll ruin Cousins for sure. There's no way he could run like a sophisticated offense. It'd be great.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. I appreciate that. Jimmy, what about you?
I'm just going with our secondary versus Justin Jefferson. He fucking torched us last game. Rasul Douglas is playing at a ridiculous level. Eric Stokes has been playing really well. So it's kind of, Todd mentioned the revenge game. Like it's kind of their turn to show that last time we played them, it was just a lucky game for them. And hopefully we can slow him down because he is really fucking good. So, and that's a good test for these two because Rasul Douglas is really opportunistic and this can maybe show he's also can be somewhat of a shutdown corner. Eric Stokes is a rookie, ups and downs, but I still can't get over. I think, Dan, you mentioned it after the Ravens game. That route that he had guarding Hollywood Brown, where he just he faked it to the outside. And he just stayed completely with him and had that pass breakup. Like that was absolutely beautiful. His closing speed is amazing. So it's just a good test for those two. I'm looking forward to it. And we don't have to fucking worry about Thielen because he has ankle surgery. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Thielen being out is a game changer for that offense because now you can literally just focus on like one guy at each group, one wide receiver, one tight end, one running back. Doesn't matter. It becomes very simple at that point. I'm looking forward to just the revenge of this whole team because, as you mentioned, Jimmy, I think this defense is going to come in pissed off into this game. You heard the comments from Paul Allen after that game last time, which were spurred by Joe Barry telling Paul Allen to not give credit to the Vikings offense because he knows that his defense can beat that offense.
Was it Joe Barry or Jerry Gray?
Jerry Gray. I'm sorry, you're right, Jerry Gray. I think this defense knows that they're good enough to beat this team. And I think Aaron Rodgers especially knows this offense is way good enough to beat that Vikings defense. Especially, I think Patrick Peterson, got hurt this past week. I'm not sure what his status will be. He's always kind of up in the air. I'm not afraid of this defense. And Aaron Rodgers, especially against defensive or division opponents, he doesn't get punked twice like that. Yeah. That just doesn't happen against divisional rivals. And so they were a Darnell Savage interception away from winning that game last time. Now you get them at home, under the lights, in the cold.
Primetime Cousins.
Yep.
Exactly. And there's a chance that people are going to this game in the back of their mind saying this could be the last regular season home game of Aaron Rodgers' career. Right here. There's a distinct possibility it could happen. He's going to come into this game.
I wasn't thinking about it, but now thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, you dick.
I'm wearing all black.
Why do you got to keep putting this shit into the universe?
I'm not trying to. It's out in the universe. This shit is
last week. You're talking about, what if someone gets hurt? Like now this? Come on. This is
Dan literally gave everyone on the Packers COVID this week. It was his fault.
I look, what I'm trying to say is I think this team comes out more focused and with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. And the two groups that have that the most is Aaron Rodgers and this secondary group. And I think they're going to be huge this week. And I think the Packers are going to do well against it. I think they're going to come out and play really well. I'm not going to say they win, because I remember last time I said that and made a big declaration of what happened. But I'm also not Lambo Labo here in the chat.
Yeah, he's a real bummer right now.
That's really bumming me out with all of that. Yeah, no, they're favored for a reason. They should win this game. And
how much?
I think they will.
How much do you think plays into it? If the Vikings lose, they're eliminated from playoff contention. Packers already have already clinched a playoff spot. Like, do you think, obviously we're still going for that number 1 seed, but do you think the Vikings seemingly having a little bit more to play for is something that we need to be worried about? Because they're fighting for their playoff lives. We already have that.
I think so. I mean, we saw it with the Browns last week. They came out that first drive and just walked down the field. And then aside from Baker throwing some bad passes, got him seemingly out of it for the middle part of the game. Our good friend Joe brought that up last week when we were talking to him about the Browns, that when you've got a team battling for their playoff life, I mean, especially if the Cowboys lose during the day on Sunday, I mean, this team might come out pretty flat and unfocused as well, knowing that they've got the number 1 seed sewn up. Go out there, get your reps, and don't get hurt.
But I mean, they don't have it sewn up. If the Cowboys lose, they still need to win.
Yeah,
at least one game. And so why not come out here? I think that would give them even more incentive to come out here and, like, guys, like, the Cowboys fucked up. Like, this is the chance. This is our best opportunity. Let's go out here and beat the crap out of these guys who punked us last time when they sucker punched us last time. Let's go out here and let's show up and let's kick their ass.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that the Rams and Buccaneers are still only 4 losses, too.
Yeah. But we have the tiebreaker on them, too, right? Just not Dallas.
Yeah.
Right.
So but Dan, you mentioned before it was this possibly could be Aaron Rodgers' last regular season home game at Lambeau. Like, that obviously adds motivation to the Packers, but the Vikings are saying, like, hey, let's make his last regular season home game, if it is, a fucking loss to a division rival. Like, that motivation goes both ways.
Yeah, but I think
that might be enough to bring him back, though.
I think it means, it does go a little bit both ways, but I think it means a little bit more when you're the team that is around that 24/7, where people are, it's getting circulated, it's getting talked about. It was all off season. Is he going to come back? Is he not? And now he's back. And if this is the last dance, let's make it worth it. I think that works a little bit more in your favor when the other team isn't thinking about you 24/7. They got to think about a new team every single week. You know, yeah. I think for them, the revenge for them is a little bit more. I think the Packers have a little bit more to play for in terms of the emotional side of it.
That's fair.
Either way, fuck you, Paul Allen, and fuck the Vikings. Speaking of the Vikings, let's get to our drunk tweet of the week, coming from somebody from the Vikings media playing everybody's favorite game on Twitter, making jokes about the Packers and the refs. A tale as old as time, a joke that's the most tired and boring thing you could ever think of. This was just one of the thousands of jokes we saw from Browns Twitter got in on it. All the Bears, the Vikings Twitter, all on this about the Packers and the refs and the Packers. The Packers get every call. Overlooking, of course, the amazing catch that Alan Lazard made with one hand. Why do you have to make it with one hand, Dan? Oh, it was because the other one was firmly tucked inside another person's pants because he was being held the whole time.
These ones are just amplified because they came at key moments. Like, that's it. Every game, there's going to be plays on both sides of the ball that get fucked up. And there was definitely a couple holes on Rasul that didn't get called. Both led to interceptions. But fuck is what it is.
I mean, that last one, though, there's OPI on that before there's a hold. Like,
yeah, that one's just physical play they let happen.
Yeah, they were consistent in letting guys play physical all day. And that's fine. If that's how you're going to call it, call it. That was the problem with the the no call at the end of the NFC Championship
Mhm.
game last year was that they had been letting them play physical in the secondary the whole time and then decided at the biggest moment to throw a flag.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest difference there, because I think we all saw that meme going around comparing those two plays. That's the difference there. I've got no problem if that's going both ways the entire game to let that play, especially at the end of it. Don't let the refs step in and make the decision at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Especially at the end of a game that the Browns should not have been in because of the way that they played throughout the middle two quarters.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that right there is spot on. Is I don't care, because offensive or pass interference is such a subjective call. It's like a strike zone in baseball. It differs from depending on who's making the calls. I don't care how you want to call it, but you have to be consistent.
Yep.
That's all I care about. And I thought, in terms of the pass interference calls, really all the calls, I thought most of the game, very consistent on both sides. There was holding missed on both sides. There was pass interference not called on both sides. And so if that's the way they want to call that game, fine with me. They called it consistent the entire time. And like Jimmy said, in the biggest moment, they stayed consistent. And that is the key for me. And so appreciate that. And everyone else, go bleep yourself.
How do you guys feel about them letting? I kind of preferred, I guess, a little bit of bias because it worked out for us, but I preferred how they did it this time. Like that play where Razul and was it Peoples Jones again? That last one where they both were being physical with each other. Like that,
I love that.
That's better. I think like you're having
Right.
both players fight for position. Like I think that's great. So, I don't know. I'd prefer that reffing rather than that ticky-tack bullshit, because I think that gives the advantage to the offense, because if you can't put your hands on a receiver, then you're going to get torched every single play, especially for opposing defenses. Adams is going to fucking torch you every play if you can't put your hands on him.
Well, it also equalizes and makes a bad team and a bad receiving core better by getting consistent help from the refs, because guys can't get close enough to Devontae Adams to interfere on a pass. You can't get pass interference on MVS when he's 10 yards down the field in front of you. So it makes lesser teams look better because they're getting those calls.
And that's exactly what it does in that situation, because Baker did not have a good game and his wide receiving core is subpar. And so those kinds of calls bail out that throw on that last interception. It's behind Peoples Jones. It's not a good throw. Razul, even holding it back, Razul shouldn't be able to get into a position to make that play if you're throwing a good enough ball. And so why would you bail out a terrible quarterback making bad decisions? I shouldn't say terrible quarterback. A quarterback making terrible decisions with rules like that. It's everyone can go have their little pity party and explain away. But as President Smith said, maybe we're just fucking better. So anyway, you guys ready for some bar bets
F-bombs tonight?
I'm feeling it tonight, man.
He just bleeped it a couple minutes ago.
This was my Friday, so I am feeling really good about the rest of I am done for the next several days, so I'm ready to go. Bar bets, gentlemen. Let's get to some bar bets. I got to find our Bakhtiaris. Here we go. All right. We talked about the running game. Obviously, a big one. Dalvin Cook this week. Do they go with the Bill Belichick mentality and run it down their throat? Over under 150 yards rushing for Dalvin Cook, Jimmy?
I'm going to go over. I think with the defensive line in the state that it's in, I think they're really going to commit to it. We saw what Nick Chubb did to us. And I think with the threat of Justin Jefferson, like we can't really play as aggressive against the run because he can absolutely destroy us. So I'm going to go over 4 Bakhtiaris.
All right. Todd.
Yeah, it pains me to do it as well, but I think I'm going to go over on this. Dalvin Cook is a phenomenal running back. Like Jimmy said, the defensive line's beat up. The run defense is bad, has been bad, even when guys are in there. And I feel like Dalvin Cook's going to pop a long one, and that's going to help get him to that. I don't think it's going to be, made up of a bunch of 5-6 yard carry. He's going to bust something for 60 plus. And that's going to get him over it.
Yeah, I'm going to go right with Todd on that 5 box carries over, because even before right now, where we're kind of like going into this where we know this run defense is bad and it's going up against Dalvin Cook. Even if that wasn't in the back of my mind thinking about it, Dalvin Cook gets 150 yards easy. Like, he gets big chunk plays. And so there's no way he doesn't get over 150. I will be shocked. I'll be absolutely shocked if he doesn't get over 150 yards rushing this week. The next one here for the defense, over under 3.5 sacks on Kirk Cousins this week. Todd?
I'm going to go under. I think kind of what we've said, they're going to lean on the run a lot. I don't know that this offense is going to be able to put up enough points to force them out of the run. And I think at that point, it's going to be harder, obviously, to get to Cousins. I wouldn't be surprised to see 3, but I'm going to go with the under there, 5 Bakhtiaris.
Yeah, no, exact same. I'm following him just because of the commitment to the run. It's going to be harder to get to Kirk Cousins. Less opportunity.
Yeah, I keep it up there. There's like that was kind of the thing we saw in that first matchup. Quick throws. They weren't giving Kirk Cousins a lot of time back there to think about stuff. Just go back to throw. And so they're not going to give him the opportunity to be sacked 3.5 times, I don't think. Sticking with this defense, really so almost all of these are based around how this Vikings offense is going to do. The Vikings offense over or under 24.5 points put up this week against the Packers defense. I'll start with this one. I'm going to say under. I'm going to say under. I'm going to go 4 Bakhtiaris under, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of changing of possession. I think both teams are going to get real methodical with it, and I don't think there's going to be a ton of scoring. I don't think it's going to be a foot race. I think it's going to be a little bit of a slower paced game scoring wise. So I'm going to go under. Jay?
I think I'm going to go over on this one. Just with Todd mentioned before, giving up 28 points, you said, Dan or Todd,
Yes,
can't
sir.
think. And this is our biggest weakness right now is the run defense. And we're going against a top 3 running back in the NFL. So I think we're still going to get the win, but I think they're going to put up some points just relying on him. I could see another huge Dalvin Cook game like he had against us last year. Just hopefully this time we don't fuck it up in the end. So yeah, I'm going over. I'm not going to be very confident in it, but 3 Bakhtiaris.
All right. Todd?
I'm going to go 5 Bakhtiaris over. The only team in the last 5 games that they've kept under 28 points, or even under 24 points for that matter, is the Browns. And that took 4 interceptions and 5 sacks to keep them under 24.5 points. So I'm going to say over 5 Bakhtiaris.
All right. Guys, any final thoughts, any final word? Our last show of 2021. We'll see each other next year. What do you got?
Thought?
Go
Happy
ahead.
birthday
Happy
tomorrow,
birthday.
Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kelsey ratted you out. You weren't going to tell us, you big jerk?
I know.
I'm glad she did, because I made a mental note of this last week, and also the mental note that I told you guys about earlier about next week's guest that was supposed to be tonight's guest.
Yeah.
My mental notes don't work for shit. So thank you, Kelsey, for throwing that in the chat and reminding me.
I don't remember anyone's birthday. So I I didn't have a mental note on that one, so I'm glad you put it in there.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Thank
How
you.
old are you now?
I will be 31.
31. You old bitch.
I know. Birthdays ceased meaning anything last year after 30. So I'm just going to spend the day. I took the day off. I'm ordering Pizza Hut for dinner, and I'm going to binge the Matrix movies tomorrow. So
Enjoy it now before the kid comes.
I
Because
know. Yeah. Oh, and also watch the Boba Fett show. First episode of the Boba Fett show back out. The Boba Fett show.
Yeah,
Book
I
of
know
Boba.
what that is for sure.
It slaps, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Guys, what do you?
It's not even out yet.
It's out today. It came out today.
But you didn't
I'm
see
just-
it. You
I'm
can't say it's
stating it.
good.
He said, "I'm
that's why I
sure."
said, I'm sure.
It
It
slaps.
slaps,
I'm
I'm
sure.
Oh, I
Yeah.
blocked that part out.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What do you guys? What any plans? Anything fun going on to bring in the new year, guys?
Hopefully in bed by 9:30. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got another crazy New Year's, same as last year's. Going to my buddy's place. We're gonna make a nice dinner. We're gonna bring up the spare mattress and put that in the living room and just live in the living room for a couple of days and do absolutely nothing. It's gonna be fantastic.
That's a bomb ass time. That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, for producer Nick AWOL today, but still, shout out to him for being one of the main guys when he's
Hey,
decides to show
at
up.
least he gave us an hour's notice that he wasn't gonna be here.
Yeah, I know that was real nice, right?
I mean, he did tell us like 3 weeks ago, but none of us knew what actual show that was that he had talked
Right.
about, and we
Just
didn't
it was a vague in the future at some point I might not be able to do it.
I'm confident he did tell us the show on the 29th I won't be able to do or might not be able to do, and we were all like, that's
Okay.
a future issue, whatever. Yeah, he dropped the ball. That's on him.
He didn't put it on the calendar, and so
Yeah.
it doesn't exist.
True.
Yeah.
Do we I really hope we don't actually have a calendar.
I don't know. I don't believe we do.
No.
But for Nick, for Jimmy, for Todd, for myself, and everybody else here at Lombardi's Bar and Game On, Wisconsin, we hope you have a great, happy holiday. And we will see you next week in the year 2022. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.